Hello everyone, it's Laura Brazil of Mind Over Muscle, and today I'm going to share with you a couple of different ways you can use a ball. I have a soft squishy ball here to stretch your toes. And so grab your ball, pause now if you need to go grab it, and then we'll get started. All right, so most of us tend to have our feet in shoes all the time. I've talked a lot about shoes and the impacts on the foot. If you want to learn more, you can check out my These Boots Aren't Made for Walking webinar on my website, and I'll put the link to that in the notes. But our toes tend to be really, really tight. So what I'm going to have you do is take the ball, and I've had people roll. If you've worked with me at all or have seen some of the work that I do, you know I love rolling out the feet. So what I'm going to have you do now is actually stretch your toes. So right now I have my my middle three toes up on the ball, and my pinky toe and my big toe are off the ball. So I'll show you this from the side. And you can do this seated or standing. So you can see my toes are elevated here. And I'm stretching them out. If you're really tight in your foot, you're probably going to want to start. I'm sitting on the floor, but you could start seated in a chair as well. And I'm just going to stretching those out. I can take my time with this, and we're going to switch sides. I've got my three middle toes up on the ball, pinky toe and big toe are down on either side. Depending on the size of your ball and the size of your foot, length of your toes, you might have to play around with the best combinations, but these are a nice starting point to work from. So I'm just hanging out here, letting the bottom of my foot stretch. A lot of times the bottom of the foot and the plantar fascia that's our most famous fascia, right? The plantar fascia. It gets really, really tight. So we're stretching it from the toes here. Another variation I want to show you is putting the big toe up on the ball and the other four toes down. So here, and I stood up there, so you could do this standing as well, depending on how you're feeling. You might want to hold on to something since you have a ball under your foot. So we've got trying to get the four toes down, big toe up. Before we were stretching these middle three toes, and now we're stretching the big toe. I'm going to switch sides so you can see it from both sides. Now you'll notice here that I have the base of my big toe down on the ground. If you're really tight, depending on the length of your toes, the size of the ball. So if you have a bigger ball and shorter toes, this could be a lot. But if you have a small ball and big toes, it might not feel, or long toes, excuse me, it might not feel like much. But we're trying to keep the base of the toes that we're stretching on the ground. And if that means you don't go up as far as get as close to the ball to decrease the stretch, that's completely fine. So these are just two different options that you can do. Again, the first one was the three middle toes up on the ball with the big toe and the pinky toe down. And the second option is big toe up on the ball and the other toes down. After you do those stretches, you might get into a knee hand position, tuck the toes under, and see how that feels to have the toes tucked, and then sit here stretching the toes out. My little toes don't like to even go there, so I pull my little toes and get them stretched here. So now we're using the floor to stretch all of them. And if this is really, really intense here, then I recommend just putting some weight in your hands and not having all the weight back here. If this seems like a lot for your knees to be in this position, feel free to put something under your knees or even in between your calf, your lower leg, and the thigh to take pressure off the knee. So if you're having a lot of pressure here at the front of the knee and there's pain at the front of the knee from kneeling, try this with a rolled up towel, one of my favorite tools, rolled up towel under the knees, or put that rolled up towel right here so you can't go back as far and put as much flexion at the knee. So give these a try, the one with the ball, the one on the floor, and see how your toes feel. Love to hear from you. And again, if you want to learn more about why our feet are often really tight and the history of shoes and how our shoes are not made for our body, check out my webinar. You can get it for download to have on the website, and you'll learn all about the history of shoes and how shoes were not ever really designed with our body's biomechanics in mind, especially the shoes we wear today. All right, everyone, have a great day, and I hope you have some happy feet after these stretches. Bye.